Hello everyone. Today is March 11th, 2012, and you're watching Overgrowth Weekly number 65. I am Lucas Orsvern.
I'm Anton Real. Wow, you're going by your real name today.
I am going by my real name today, Anton. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like the end of an era, but maybe the beginning of something new.
Those words, Anton. I think those can describe the situation quite well, actually.
It makes me wonder if the whole world will stop using internet names and start going by their given names.
Nah, probably not.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Fine.
Well, anyway, so this week, Overgrowth apparently turned into a Street Fighter with rabbits, I guess. Suddenly.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's cool, I guess. I mean,
And it's fun also.
yeah, it's really fun. So this week's alpha they added, well, let me just show it to you. They added kind of a fighting game user interface and system for the whole thing. So you get points when you kill your opponent, and the first guy with 5 points, I guess, is the winner. And,
Yep.
And so that's a really cool. Yeah, it's super nice playing together now because you can actually play against one another in a pretty controlled fashion. So
Right.
really enjoyable.
There is actually in the parameters setting a new lives section, so I think you can set the number of lives that you get as well when you're playing in multiplayer. But every time that I change it, it's been crashing on me. But I've been having a lot of crashes this week anyway, so...
You're not sounding anything now.
I'm not sounding anything?
Now you're sounding again. You said you had a
That's
lot of
bizarre.
crashes.
Yeah, I was having a lot of crashes this week, but I'm not sure why.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
me
don't know
too.
if it's something with this alpha or if it's just something in general, but having multiple lives and being able to set the number of lives per character is great. So you can, maybe if that lives setting affects this UI at all, you could give someone a handicap. Say you know that you're better than someone else, but you don't want it to be totally unfair. You could set a handicap where maybe they get more lives than you do per round to win or something like that.
Yeah, I really like those kinds of automatic handicap systems like they have in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, I think, where you can just set the handicap to auto, and the winner of every round will get weaker, and the loser of every round will get stronger, and then it'll kind of even out over time, and it brings a more even playing field, so you won't always know who's gonna win.
Right. That's a very cool idea. The one drawback I could see to that is someone being a Super Smash Brothers shark and intentionally losing a bunch and then starting to bet money and then start winning.
Yeah, it's not on by default though. You need to activate it, so no problem with that.
Okay.
But something like that would be cool for this, because I'm playing in the video you see now. I'm playing against my apartment mate, and well, she's never played Overgrowth at all, basically. So I'm teaching as I'm playing, and it's kind of unfair. So if I would get like one less life every time I win or something like that, that would make sense to make it a bit more leveled to play.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. But we'll see.
But yeah, it's still fun, and it's even more fun with just playing multiplayer in Overgrowth is fun, but it's even more fun to have this competitive thing that you can do. So yeah, really cool. And also it supports 2 controllers now.
Yes, it does.
Which is pretty cool because, yeah, playing with a keyboard, I mean, it's fine, but when your opponent's playing with a controller, it's kind of unfair if you're used to the keyboard and stuff. So yeah.
Right. The one thing that I discovered that was a drawback of being able to use 2 controllers is that you can't assign separate keys to different buttons to different commands. And so, for example, I have a bunch of PS3 controllers, but only one Xbox 360 controller. But the Xbox 360 controller is wired, so I just leave it hooked up to my computer. Also, I don't have an Xbox 360. So if I hook up my PS3 controller to play against the Xbox 360 controller, the buttons don't match.
Mm-hmm.
My dad calling, sorry. And so I have to either only play with PS3 controllers, or I have to, you know, or do keyboard versus controller. I can't do two different controllers yet. That's my one complaint. Anyway, that was a long, tedious rant for no reason. Let's move on.
Yeah, so that's this week's alpha. Really, really cool stuff, man. So yeah, moving on. We have a tutorial this week. Ta-da! Tutorial.
Yay!
And this week it's about custom models in Overgrowth and how to import your own custom models into Overgrowth. I kind of made a tutorial about this. I should activate the checkboxes. Thank you, learn_more for the checkboxes once again.
Yay, learn more.
Yeah, so the tutorial for this week is about how to make a model in Blender. Real quick, I'm just going to make a cylinder and then UV unwrap it, export it, and put a texture on it and put it into Overgrowth. So it's a real simple thing to do. I'm not going to spend too much time in Blender. It's just so that you can know if you have a model that you can make in Blender, then you know how to export it and get it into the game, and that's the purpose of the tutorial. But if you don't know Blender, you can still like follow along and get the whole workflow of the whole thing, so then you can start making your own models if you're interested and get them into Overgrowth. So let's start this, man. I'm going to launch Blender, so let's see. I'm actually going to, yeah, just pull that over there. Can I, or can you? I gotta restart this program, see if that works. I have this program that I use to align my windows. There we go, that's better. So, here we have Blender. So of course, if you don't have Blender, you can download it at blender.org. Just go to blender.org and then download it. It's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So that's really great. So yeah, let's start this. Just click to remove that thing there. And we're going to create a cylinder in here and get it into the game. So the thing we do is we press A twice to select everything, and then press X and left click to delete that. And then press Shift A and go to Mesh and Cylinder, and here we have our cylinder. Just use the scroll wheel to scroll in. Click the scroll wheel down and move the mouse to look around your object like this. And as you can see right now, we have these hard edges on here, so I'm just going to hit the smooth button to the left to smooth that out. Use the T key to bring up this menu if you don't have it. But now we have this weird problem at the top here where it's kind of dark towards the back, and we don't want that, so I am going to fix that by simply going to the right here. With the object selected, you use right click to select objects. With the object selected, go to the object modifiers menu, the wrench up there. Add modifier and add a edge split modifier, and now it's looking like it should. So now we have our cylinder. Now all we need to do is unwrap this before we can export it. So to do that, hit the button up here to change your workspace. This is the easiest way, to UV editing from default. And now that we're in here, you hit tab to go into edit mode so that you can see the whole thing is orange like this. You can hit tab again to go out of edit mode. And so with it selected, you can press U and then unwrap, or you just in the left menu here, go to UV mapping and then unwrap. But as you can see, when we do that, it's looking kind of weird. This is not how it's supposed to look, and that's because we haven't added any seams to the object yet. So when it's kind of unwrapping it, it doesn't know where to put all the vertices, because it's like all the vertices are stuck together, so how do I do this? So what we need to do to fix that is hold Alt and right click on one of these edges to select that, and then hit mark seam under UV mapping there, and then do the same for the bottom. And then we do the same for one of these edges. So now we can UV unwrap this again by selecting it all with A once again, and then hit unwrap, unwrap. And there we go, now it's looking like it should. You can see it's kind of skewed like this though, and we can fix that if we change the method down here right after UV unwrapping. This will be removed if you do anything else, so right after UV unwrapping, change this to conformal, and it's going to look much nicer. So now we're done with our object. That's all we need to do in Blender. It's now UV unwrapped and all that. So to export the object, all you need to do is go to File and then Export Wavefront OBJ. You might want to save your object as well if you want that. But yeah, I am not gonna bother because this object is a cylinder and it's not really important to me. So I'm going to save it straight into my overgrowth folder. So D games overgrowth for me, and then we go into the data folder. And then we go into the custom folder, because you don't want to save it among the normal objects that come with the actual game. So go into the custom folder, and then in here you can create a folder that has your username on it, or like, yeah, your name or whatever, so a folder that is yours, that you can put all of your stuff in. So for this one, I am going to create a folder with the create new directly button up there, and I'm going to call it OG Weekly. Hit enter to that, and then just click in there. And in here we can create our own folders and organize our own content. So we're going to create a models folder that we can put our little model in. So model, I'm going to call that model. Not, I'm going to call it. Can I rename this? Can I please? Oh, I guess I can't. Well, anyways, now I entered a different menu. Oh goodness, back to previous. Let's try that again. File, export, obj. And then I'm going to go, I didn't want it to be called D games overgrowth custom data custom OG Weekly. It's not models, it's supposed to be models. It needs to be perfect, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to call this one cylinder, because that's what it is. Now before you export, you need to make sure that you have the right checkboxes here. And these will not be saved, and I don't know how to have them saved, so yeah, anyways. We want to include the normals, otherwise we won't have the smoothness to our little cylinder there, so you need to remember to check that. And then we can uncheck write materials, otherwise we will get an extra file that we don't really need, so yeah, just leave that unchecked. And then export that object. So that's all we need to do with Blender, so I'm gonna close that down. And let's go into our overgrowth folder. So D games overgrowth data custom. And then we have OG Weekly, and I'm going to remove my old model folder, go to my models folder, and here we have our exported objects. So what we need to do now is have a texture for this object that we can put on the object, and then we need to have a file, a kind of a text file, an XML file even, that tells the game where the model is, and it tells the game where the texture is, and then the game knows where those are. It can put them together and give them to us in the game as an object that we can use to build our levels with. So to get the textures, I have already created a texture for this. It's a basic just concrete texture, so I think I have it in here. No, I don't have it in there. I have it in Lucas textures, and here we go. I have concrete color and concrete normal, and I also have a blank normal map here, which can be handy to have around if you don't have a normal map for your texture, because you do need to have a normal map. And if you don't know, a normal map is the image that tells the game how it kind of gives the object a more detailed surface than it actually has. So it kind of gives, yeah, as you can see, it has all of these small like holes in it and stuff like that that won't affect the geometry, just makes it look more detailed. So you need one of these. You can't go without it if you're making models for overgrowth. And then we have the color texture. And as you can see, this is almost entirely white. It's not actually almost entirely white. It just looks like that because I have pulled up the transparency to something like 90–95%. And the reason for that is that overgrowth uses the transparency of a texture to determine how shiny it is in the game. So if your object has no transparency at all, it's going to be super duper shiny as humanly or objectively possible, I guess. And if you have it at 100% transparency, it's going to be totally unshiny and not shiny at all. So I have it at almost entirely transparent to have it just a little bit shiny. So I hope that makes sense. So these are the two textures. When I upload my tutorial during the week, I'm going to give you all of these files that I have here as well, so you don't need to be able to make your own textures to follow along in the tutorial. So let's jump back out into our custom folder. I copied those files there and back into the OG Weekly folder. I'm going to make a folder called textures and just paste those there. So there we have our little files. Cool. So now we have our model, we have our textures. Now we just need to create that file that tells the game where the model is, where the textures are, so it can put them together and give it to us as an object in the game. So I'm going to create another folder. By the way, the shortcut I'm doing is Alt-FWF on Windows to create a new folder. A little tidbit for you guys. And I'm going to call this folder Objects. Oh yeah. So go in there, and I'm going to create another text file in here, Alt-FWT, guys, and I'm gonna call it cylinder.xml. And if you can't see the file ending, you saw it had txt at the end there for me. If you don't have that, you can make it so that you can see it if you press Alt in Windows 7. If you have like XP, you don't need to press Alt, but you need this menu up here anyways. So go to Tools, Folder Options, and then View, and then down here you have Hide Extensions for known file types. That's checked by default, which means it hides the extension. You don't want that, so uncheck that and hit OK, and you're going to see the .txt, so you can change it to another format easily. Okay, so if we open this up now, I actually have it open. Let's actually open it in Notepad. Trusty old Notepad. So there we go. That's our empty fine file. Now we need to put the text in here that's going to tell the game where this stuff is. So I have a template that I like to use for this. So let's actually copy the object from there. I'm going to be giving you this template too, of course. I'm just going to copy that into there. No, don't open yourself over there. Just pull that in there. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Yeah, it's a quite simple structure. You have the model right here, references to where the model is. And then you have the color texture reference, the normal map reference, and then we have the shader path, and then the shader name within that path. We're not going to change the path and name of the shader. That's because you need to change that if you're going to make an object that's going to have transparency, for instance, or if you're making an object that's supposed to have more than one texture, then you need to change the shader, but we're not doing that, so we're just going to keep them as they are. For these other ones, we need to change them to whatever is appropriate for our current object. So I'm going to copy all of this text, just copy that, and open up my cylinder XML. No, not down there again, open with Notepad, there we go. Paste that in, okay. So, it starts from the Overgrowth folder. You can see the structure here. We have games Overgrowth, and then it goes to data, and you see data, custom, OG Weekly, so we need to change that to OG Weekly from username. And then we have the model file is in the models folder, and then cylinder.obj, so OG Weekly, models, cylinder.obj, cylinder, okay. And then we do the same for the color map and normal map. And they're in the textures, and then concrete_color.png. So I'm going to copy this file name, the concrete color, and then with data, custom, username is supposed to be OG Weekly. Textures, we're in the textures folder, and then it's called, let's paste that in there, it's called concrete_color.png, and then I'm going to paste this for the normal map as well, because that's called concrete_normal.png, and change the username for the last one there. And that's all we need to do to get the object into Overgrowth. That's how easy it is. You can do this in like 5 minutes compared to other engines where it can take a long time. So let's launch Overgrowth. Let's launch up Overgrowth and see if our object works. Hopefully it will work, and we won't get any errors. I'm going to load up Red Desert. I can resize the window now. Ta-da! Yeah. Cool. So let's, once we're in the game, we press 9 to go out into edit mode. 9 on the keyboard, not on the numpad. Hit load item. Let it load the menu. Let it load, let it load, let it load. There we go. And then we click the folder icon to load an external object. Your object will not show up among these fine images that we have here. They have not automated that as of yet. And then we go to Overgrowth, data, custom, your username, mine's OG Weekly, and then we go into the object folder. We do not want to load the model, we want to load the object that we created, and I have cylinder.xml. Let's hope that there are no errors in this now. Hit open. And it's loading, it's loading. It's going to take extra time the first time you do this, because That's because it's recompressing the textures to a format that the game can read. So I have PNG textures, and the reason I have PNG, by the way, is because PNG supports transparency, and I cannot make TGA files with the program I use to make the textures. And GIMP does not, just so you know, GIMP does not work well with transparency for the game. It's, yeah, so you need to use like Photoshop or any other program that handles transparency well. But, however, anyways, when we have the object loaded, we just click anywhere to load it, and there we go. That's our cylinder with our fine concrete texture inside of the game. So yeah, I'm going to give you these files that you can download, and I'm going to make a real like recorded tutorial for you guys to upload it to the YouTube channel during the week. So
don't you already have that though? Sorry, don't you already have that with the donut?
I do have it with the donut, but that's an old one. Oh, what happened with my character? Wow!
I've had that happen to me one time before, and it kind of creeped me out.
Yeah.
You can still fight too. I think I had it the other way though.
They implemented dismemberment. It's official. It's in the game.
Anyone who wanted to know what dismemberment looks like with this type of character, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the tutorial, man. Let's exit this because it's lagging up my computer. So yeah, I hope you look forward to that tutorial, that real tutorial coming up. And I hope you looked forward to, you like this tutorial. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
Alright, so that's the tutorial. That is the tutorial. Let's open up our browser again so I can show you guys the agenda. Bam! Tutorial done. So let's move on. Let's keep moving. Next up, we have the community segment. So we start out with the fan art watch as usual, and that is where we take a look at what is going on in the fan art thread on the Wolfire forums. And I take the latest images there, compile them all into images, and I give them to you here right now. So here is the first batch of images. Hang on. Just having trouble. Okay. So, yeah, to the left here we have Nico Star, who just came to the forums from nowhere and just posted really cool images.
It's Neko, not Nico.
Neko?
Neko. It means
Neko.
Cat in Japanese.
Oh, I see. I see. It means cat in Japanese. Oh, I thought that I was like super stupid and couldn't pronounce it correctly, but it was Japanese, so I guess that's fine.
It's Japanese, yes.
But yeah, really good artist, looking cool. And then we have KAC Boy in the middle there with his Turner, and I mean it's looking kind of sketchy, but I think it actually looks really cool. I like the style there.
Yeah, it definitely seems pretty stylized, and the sword just looks massive.
Yeah. Really cool stuff. And to the right there we have King_Pancake with 2 characters he made himself, and in the bottom right we have him coloring an image made by Corbin3. I think we showed that last week.
That we did. And we said that it needed to be colored, so...
Yeah, exactly. So well done, King_Pancake, Neko Star, and KAC Boy. And then we have another image of images. We have Mr. Anton here at the top, who made a very, very cool image of, you know, the Overgrowth logo in the clouds, looking quite fancy there.
Mm-hmm.
In the bottom right, we have Steel Raven 7 with an image that we're probably going to take a live look at. Yeah, I'm looking for that. We're going to look at the image Steel Raven. Okay, so yeah, we'll see what happens. And in the bottom left, we have Last, who I think he intended to remake the character towards the next leftmost character.
Right. I think it's actually a different version of that same character that was posted in the thread about female characters. I think it's colored closer to what he did there.
Oh, I see. Well, anyways,
but yeah, people discussing again one of the, you know, it's a hot button topic, so to speak, in the world of Overgrowth is how to include female characters that aren't hypersexualized.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that's yeah, it's a it's an interesting take on it, I think, and you know,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
I'm sure it's going to go just great. So yeah, that's the fan art watch. Let's check out Steel Raven 7's little thing he has going on there. We'll see what happens. I mean, we have been pranked by Steel Raven 7 before, so yeah, I'm just expecting that to happen now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Do we have him
It's like the
somewhere?
boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna lean back now. See what happens. No? Nothing? Just gonna...
It's moving.
Yeah, he's moving. That's what's supposed to happen, I think. We'll see. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Fuck you, Chelios.
Oh,
What? I don't know what's going on.
wow. That was me, and that was me playing flute over a movie that, yes, I worked on that movie. And actually, I played that same flute in that movie as well. It's the same flute that I play the Overgrowth theme on, and I actually, since they brought it up, that I recorded that same flute for both Overgrowth and for Crank 2 at the same time, like the same recording session. I did them both.
Ooh,
So
cool.
yeah, yeah,
A little bit of trivia for you guys there.
yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, that's the fan art watch. Thank you, especially Steel Raven 7. He put some extra work into his fan art, and we appreciate that here at Overgrowth Weekly. So
Someone's asking. I was playing an ethnic American flute. I can show it to you. I'll go grab it right now if you guys want to see it live.
run, Anton. Like
Take
the
just a
wind.
sec.
So yeah, meanwhile, dancing it out to the music that shall come.
Looks like this.
Let's zoom in on you, Anton. Bam!
So, yeah. And you guys have heard it before.
Oh yeah.
That's the sound of the Overgrowth flute.
It sounds.
But I haven't played
nice.
the Overgrowth theme in such a long time that.
Oh, your sound was gone again.
All right. What's that?
Your sound was gone for a moment again. But yeah. Really
Oh,
cool. I like
we-
the sound of that flute. It sounds so cool.
It's a very cool flute. It's one of my more expensive flutes in the world of wooden flutes, which can be pretty cheap. That's one of my nicer ones. So
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
So do I, and I'm sure everyone who has heard of the Overgrowth main theme likes it too.
Or in the picture of me in the bottom right corner where I played it live in that video. That was a video. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Next up, we have a challenge issued by Mr. Anton himself. It's the Overgrowth Leg Cannon Master Challenge. So what can you tell us about this?
Well, it stemmed from a conversation I was having in the forums that I won't get into, but basically wanted to create kind of some community challenge that I could reward you guys with. And the conversation was about whether or not leg cannons were overpowered, and I said that weapons were a good counterbalance to that. So the point of the leg cannon challenge is you have to try and kill as many enemies that have spears using only the leg cannon. And you guys have about 4 weeks right now to enter, and whoever can record a video showing that they do the most kills in the least amount of time will win a copy of the following humble bundle from me. So, yeah, it should be fun. I have a little video of me doing it for exhibition, but obviously I'm not gonna win and buy myself humble bundle as that doesn't really make any sense. So you guys need to compete and show off. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that it's always nice with these like challenges and these, you know, in general these community events. I guess in Overgrowth, it makes so much sense to have, and you know, it's fun. It's fun stuff, man.
Yeah. I missed that we hadn't had any in a while. And to be honest, the level is kind of fun to play anyway, where you're just combating. It's hard. It's really hard. There's only 4 enemies, and they each have a spear, nothing else. It's hard to beat them on a consistent basis.
So yeah, check that out if you're interested in playing some Overgrowth and winning some games, man.
Exactly.
Cool stuff. So next we have a level. It's Temple of the Moon by amnesiac.ps. So I am going to hit. Let's see, what button is it? Is this button? Yeah, there we go. Temple of the Moon. So, this level, as I said, created by amnesiac.ps. It's, I guess it's a mix of parkour and fighting level. So it's kind of a normal level. And it's played out in a temple, the Temple of the Moon, apparently. And it's in general a very detailed level. It's looking really cool. Just he's not really using any really fancy assets. He's just using some pretty basic stuff, and he's managing to create just a really cool level from it. So that's what I think is the coolest thing about this.
Yeah, it's a very advanced looking, feeling location that that when you play it, it really feels like a solid place. Like it really feels like it could exist. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
Exactly. And so yeah, it starts out with those 3 little enemies there that you kill, and then there are some parkour elements. Yeah, as opposed to the Cat's Pass level that we played, I don't feel like the advancedness or the good-lookingness of this level affects the parkouring too much. I think he has managed to make all the ledges work properly and stuff like that, and there are no the walls that you're supposed to be able to wall run up and things like that. You're able to wall run up them. So yeah, it's really good to see that it's actually possible to make levels that both look good and play well when you're parkouring.
Right.
And he's managed to make it melt very well into the actual level design, like the look of the level. The gameplay of the parkouring makes sense with how the level looks, if that makes sense. So it's not abstract in any way. It all makes sense. It all works together, which is also very cool to see.
For sure.
So yeah, have you played this yourself, Anton, yet? Did you have time?
I've played the version that was released before he released it as a map, when he just released it as a group saved and imported. So I played through the level, but there weren't any enemies in it.
I see.
I started to play it with enemies one time, and unfortunately it crashed for me, and then I had to keep working, so you know, that was the end of my break. As soon as it crashed.
Yeah. It's so bad when that happens. It's alpha.
Yeah. I did like running through the level and figuring out how to climb. I felt like one of the big difficulties in a way was actually finding a pathway up the very first time, is because a lot of other levels really sort of hold your hand and tell you this is where to go, this is where to climb, whereas this one felt like you maybe had some options and you maybe had you know, you may be right and you may not. So it's I don't know, it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Having it like that can be both good and wrong, because of course it's going to be a bit harder to know where to go for the player, so he might just give up. But it's a hard balance, because you don't want to hold the player's hand either. You want him to feel like he's exploring and needs to explore in order to know where he's going. So yeah, it's hard, but I think he made it really well, actually.
Yep, really enjoyed it a lot. So
yep. So yeah, that's the Temple of the Moon, which can be downloaded if you just follow the link in the agenda, and it's created by amnesiac.ps. I'm going to be releasing that video that you saw there with commenting to the YouTube channel during the week. So that's the end of the community segment. Let's move on to the community side notes segment and take a look at what's going on in the community, because, yeah, a lot is going on in the community.
Yeah.
So let's just dive right in and do this thing, man. So this week for the video we have Anton's massacre in what's it called? Massacre? I don't even remember.
Wilson's Pass.
Yeah, massacre at Wilson's Pass. So we have a bit of stuff for you to watch there. Okay, is that lined up? Yeah, it's kind of lined up. Can it be more lined up? Yes, it can. There you go. Okay, there we go. Let's do this. So, first up, Science South from the forums and his friend started a YouTube channel where they intend to upload a new Overgrowth video every 10 alphas or so, and because the first video that they made quite a long time ago now was quite successful, and they already uploaded their first video, and yeah, I highly recommend that you take a look at it because it's looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a very nice, beautiful looking thing, and they played it well, so
yeah,
definitely worth checking out.
Very well done there. And then we have Adwuga, who has created a stealth level called Stealth, where your objective is to be all stealthy and stuff while looking out for mutated super rabbits. It also has a nice sky texture.
It does, and you do have to be very careful. The mutated rabbits are much stronger and much faster than you.
Yeah, it's insane how they walk, man.
Stealth is highly recommended for that level.
Yes.
I think I've only beaten it once.
It's hard.
It is.
So yeah, Retribution is the name of a level created by Goad, and he explains it's a smallish, non-linearish level, and it's also loosely based on Watership Down, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a very cool level. And next up is you, Anton, with your super fun time level, Massacre at Wilson's Pass.
Yeah. This was supposed to be the opposite of my leg cannon challenge, which was, this level is incredibly easy, and basically you just get rushed by a bunch of guys, and they're super easy to kill, and you are faster than them. And ideally, you kind of feel like you're in like an old samurai film where you just beat them down really easily.
Yeah, it's a fun way to pass some time, surely.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing that the version that you're playing is the 1v10 version. The 1v20 version actually gets pretty intense at times, but it is kind of hard on a lot of people's computers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I released another version of it this morning that was my original configuration for the 1v10, where all 10 people are closer together, and to me it's more fun. You jump into the middle of them, just hold down the attack button and watch them fall as you slice them up. So
Nice.
Anyway,
Yeah, it's a fun level. Next up, let's see here. So during GDC, Johannes and Aaron created a tournament level where the first ever 1v1 Overgrowth tournament was held. And that level is now available for download in the SPF. Just follow the link as usual. If you want to get some practice in it for the next tournament that will be held sometime, yeah, someday, maybe, I guess. You have your chance now with this level.
right. Have you played the level?
I have not played the level.
It's interesting. I'll leave it at that. Definitely works as a challenging level. So
yeah, I think I might get some 1v1 playtime in with my friend. Yeah, later in this week or something like that.
Nice.
So it should be fun. It seems like a cool level.
Record it and let us know.
Yes, I will. So yeah, this week's additions to the main menu with custom maps mod by you, Anton, include Spear Fight, Cat's Pass, Raided Town, Inheritance, Stealth, Retribution, and The Void. So a lot of maps going on this week.
Yes.
So Corbin 3 updated his gun mod this week with some minor changes, and Steel Raven created a telekinesis mod that allows you to throw around your enemies. So yeah, that's really cool. You can just just throw them around if you get angry at them. Kind of related with the lightning ice thing that David created.
Yeah, I think he used some of that scripting from that, which was good implementation of that.
So that's useful at least. He also created a weapon chase camera mod, where the camera follows your thrown weapons, making those throwing knife kills even more satisfying, if that's even possible. And there's a download and video available for both of those mods by SteelRaven7. And as usual, we have... Let's see, as usual we have Last with his Blood/No Death mod, and it has been updated to work with the latest alpha. And last but not least we have SMJB1992, and he's currently taking requests in the SPF topic for weapons you think he should make and put into Overgrowth. So if you want a specific weapon in the game but you don't know how to model and import it yourself, you know where to go. So
there
yeah,
was a mod I think we skipped though. Another mod by SteelRaven7 that was shown off in the Temple of the Moon video is he created a Batman Arkham City style final death where it slows down and spins around the character and stuff. So
yeah,
we showed it off, but we didn't talk about it.
Exactly, I forgot to add that to the agenda. I have it in the... I have made a video of it. I'm going to upload it during the week. It's in the same video that I show off the Temple of the Moon, and you might have seen it in the video. But yeah, that was made too. Was that made by SteelRaven too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so he's been modding up a storm this week.
He's chugging it out, man. He's chugging out those mods like an insane person.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the end of the show. That is the end of the show. So check out ogweekly.com as well as our YouTube channel called OG Weekly. Yeah. And Anton, as we said before, before the show, I guess, you're leaving tomorrow, right?
Yes, I'm leaving tomorrow, so I will not be here the next 2 episodes, I think.
Yes, but we will get replacement for you, and next week we're going to have Aaron here instead, so I guess that should work out quite fine after all.
Nice.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next week, not you Anton, I'm sorry. But yeah, same time, same place. See you guys.
See you guys.